What's up, Capoeiristas? Welcome back to the Capoeira Experience podcast. Welcome back to the first part of my interview with my good friend Leopardo. Because I have to cut this in two parts because the conversation was so good that we were talking on this part. First part number one is going to be our conversation of a little bit of his background on capoeira. He's actually right now in Africa, so he talks a little bit about what he's doing there. He's a little bit of his research with capoeira and the connection with our ancestors, our Orixas, okay, or Orixas. And we talk a little bit about me being initiated in the religion and me being part of the religion too, as he also explains the really cool connection of the capoeira with the capoeira, the berimbau, and the orishas. So stay tuned. Keep listening to this because it's going to be a very interesting conversation. And just stay tuned for next week, part number 2. All right. Thank you for listening. Keep listening to this because it's going to be really fun. It's going to be very interesting for you to learn a little bit more of the connection of capoeira and the orishas. We talk a lot in the capoeira music. Praia Manja, Lele, Praia Manja. If you listen to that song before, if you have listened to that song before, you know what I'm talking about. All right. Thank you so much. Listen there. Let's roll. Peace. What's up, Capoeira Nation? Welcome back to the Capoeira Experience podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being part of everything. This is your instructor, your host, Instructor Kashishi from the Capoeira Brazil in Indianapolis. And right now, today I have a guest that he's being connected to the our ancestors on the with let's say the religion part, okay, and then we jump into capoeira and everything at the end is going to be connected with us. And he's been doing research about the connection with the religion, Yoruba religion, and then African culture with capoeira, and is really cool to see all these uh, information and insights straight from the source. So he's let me introduce you to my friend Leopardo. How are you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for making the time. I know we've been like a couple weeks trying to like figure it out.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Always, man, always for sure. And like I always say, is my pleasure for me to have anyone from the capoeira community to share their experience and their information, because yeah, we all have something to share, and for us to learn.
I agree. Thank you for having this great idea of connecting everyone in the capoeira community. Thanks to the podcast.
Always, yeah. Thank you so much. And um before we jump into topic, there's couple things. The first one, your social media,
Okay.
so people can find you and can see your face on social media.
All right. So I go by my normal name because I have so many non-capoeira friends. I don't want to mess
Okay.
them up with. So I go by Charlie Billon,
Okay.
but my capoeira name is Leopardo. So maybe if you try Leopardo Capoeira, you can find me. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Nice. And that's the only social media you have, right?
I use Instagram. I also have Facebook, even though I'm not really active there.
Okay.
But yeah, my main social media is Instagram now.
Awesome. All right, perfect. And now a little bit of your story of your capoeira background, how you started and everything, so people can get to know you.
Okay, so I started capoeira in 2012. I was 14 years old, I believe, when I started.
Oh, nice.
And for the short story, I started here in the Ivory Coast, actually.
Okay.
I had my first class here because basically the capoeira school here The owner is the master. Her name is Mestre Marcia,
Oh, cool.
and she is the wife of a very famous Ivorian painter and artist.
That's awesome.
So they have a very nice and big space with a garden. And during the holidays, they use it to have like a child care center with a
Oh,
lot
nice.
of different activities like soccer, painting, pottery, capoeira, dance, chess class, whatever.
Nice.
So I used to go there as a child, just for the child care center. So I've always been exposed to capoeira and the Brazilian culture because since she's from Brazil, she likes to organize events involving the Brazilian culture, like carnaval, churrascaria, whatever you want. And one day I just decided to try the capoeira class, and here I am now,
That's awesome. That's
basically.
awesome. So she was teaching capoeira too in
Yes,
the. Oh, cool. That's pretty
yes,
cool.
yes.
And
She's a
just
capoeira mestre, and she's also like a child care center owner, basically.
that's awesome. That's pretty cool. And just for people to know where all this you are on West Africa right now, right?
Yes, West Africa, the Ivory Coast. We also
Nice.
go by Côte d'Ivoire because for some reason the country don't always translate its name.
Okay.
So
So
the
and
French name is Côte d'Ivoire and the English name is the Ivory Coast.
okay, okay. Which countries do you have surrounding the like around that country?
So our neighbors, we have Mali in the north, we have
Okay.
Burkina Faso, we have Ghana, and we have Guinea and Liberia.
Oh, cool. Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you have a
Yes.
lot of that's so cool, man. So you have a lot of countries around you.
Yeah, it's
That's
nice.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I didn't know the on I'm pretty bad with
The
geography.
geography.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Uh and then you started when because you are Sokechi student and shoot out to my really good friend Sokechi, Professor Sokechi all the
Yes.
way from Toronto. And
Big up to him.
yes, yes. Yeah, and I know he's gonna be listening to this, and he's gonna be like probably smiling at this point. So
Right.
the when do you get in touch with Sokechi and his
With
crew and
Sketch?
group? Yeah.
Yeah. Because so when I started Capoeira in 2012, I was living in France, but
Oh,
I just went in the Ivory Coast during holidays to see my family and just to enjoy the summertime there. But
okay.
so after having this first Capoeira class, I did Capoeira all the summer with these guys in the Ivory Coast. And when I went back to France, the first thing I did was Google Capoeira in Paris.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah. So then I found a school which was under Senzala back in the days.
Okay. Is it Mestre
So I
Tornillo?
no, it was so now he's Contramestre Anginho,
Oh, okay.
and he was under the leadership of Mestre Itamar of
Oh, okay.
Capoeira Senzala in Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
So I trained with them for 3 years, I guess. I moved a lot because I was not stable. Because since I was a teenager, I was in um, middle school, then high school, then college. So I had to move a lot. And at
Yeah.
some point in high school, my parents wanted me to come back in the Ivory Coast so I
Okay.
could stay with them before going again for college.
Okay.
You know. So after training with Capoeira Senzala for I guess 3 years, I went back to the Ivory Coast and I trained again with the guys here for 2 years, I guess.
Okay.
And then I got my high school diploma and I started going to college. So I went in France first, back in
Okay.
France, and I trained again in France with so basically, yeah, it's a long story.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No
basically
worries.
the Senzala guys, some stuff happened in them and one of them became Abada Capoeira.
Okay. Okay.
So his school was very close to my neighborhood.
Okay.
So I trained a little bit with him. Then I went to the United States after that.
Oh.
after 1 year in Paris, I went to the United States in Philadelphia,
Okay.
and I trained there with Mestre Dutor.
Okay.
But I trained with all these schools without
Being part of the
being a
school.
member of being part of a group, right? I was kind
Nice.
of like a group-less capoeirista.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
just jump in different trainings and participate, share my good energy and get
For
some,
sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and that was it. But then after living 1 year in Philadelphia and learning how to speak English,
Yeah.
because my English was very bad before coming to
Okay.
the US,
Okay.
and I had to apply in North American schools, university, sorry. And I got admitted in the University of Toronto. So that's how that was in 2018.
That
2018, yes.
that's
I
when
got
you
admitted in the University of Toronto,
okay.
and
That's when
that's
you
when
got in contact with Sokechi, right?
yes. So
Oh,
I
cool.
remember, I remember the first day I came in Cadera Capura, Toronto. Well, I was very shy,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they all welcomed me like I was their friend since a long time.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And I remember Soket, he has a lot of sarcasm. So he saw me coming with a capoeira shirt, and he was like, "Oh, you wear a capoeira shirt, so I guess you know some capoeira."
That's so cool, man. That's so cool.
Yeah,
And then
and then we
she's
all we all became friends very quickly.
that's so cool, man.
And the way Soket teaches capoeira and shared his knowledge and philosophy and energy, I knew from the start that this will become my capoeira group for the rest of my capoeira journey.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. And then since then, would you say 2018?
2018,
Yeah,
yes,
2018. Since then, you officially part of Kadara Capoeira.
yes. And I
Nice.
stayed in Toronto to do my studies at my bachelor degree
Yeah,
at the
that's awesome,
university.
man. That's so cool.
Mm.
Yeah, and then when do you came back to? I guess you probably came back like right before the pandemic, then, right?
Sorry, I came back in December 2020.
Okay.
I stayed in Toronto during the pandemic. Then I went back to
Oh,
France
okay.
in the summer.
Yeah.
Then I went back to Toronto in September.
Oh, wow.
And then
Okay.
in December, I came back to the Ivory Coast, and my parents told me to stay because,
It was getting too crazy in Canada.
yeah, the thing
Yeah.
was because courses are online, right?
Oh, so you can do it from
So
anywhere.
because of that, they didn't want me to stay in an apartment 24 hours just watching my screen.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So I came back here and I'm taking my classes from here.
Nice, nice. Well, and you also mentioned, which is really cool. I really I was very impressed of when at the beginning of this you mentioned that there wasn't any lockdown in your country.
Yes, there is no lockdown here because there are not lots of COVID cases.
Yeah,
So the government is not that worried about the situation,
that's so cool,
and
man.
people are so young, and that the immune system of the overall population is
Yeah,
pretty strong.
yeah, that's so cool. And we were talking probably like for like 10 minutes before we start the podcast about like food, and then all the
Yeah,
habits of the eating habits is pretty good there. Then
yeah. People eat a lot of whole and natural organic food, however you want to name it.
yeah, yeah. And now to the topic of the podcast, what is what do you think about the ancestrology connection with capoeira and the African culture, that connection there? Of course we already know where capoeira came from and all that, but your opinion on that, like, what do you find in your research and all that?
Well, what I find very interesting is that when you look at the cultures in West Africa, what's very interesting is that the way people here convey their knowledge and religion and and even culture. It's all around dance and music.
That's so cool, man.
So dance and music is a big part of how West Africans, I don't want to generalize,
Yeah,
but if
yeah,
you
yeah.
get an idea of how people in West Africa, in their traditional culture, basically convey things. Because basically we have dance and music for everything. For a ceremony, to convey happiness, to convey sadness. When they want to fight, everything they have dance and music for that.
That's
So I
so
find
cool, man.
interesting that when capoeira, well, not capoeira, but when the slave got exported in um, the American continent and Brazil,
Yeah,
you can see through capoeira that this basis of conveying things through dance and music stayed the same. Because if you want to think about capoeira, it's not only it's a martial art, but it's also a way of expressing resistance
yes,
and not wanting to lose your identity and culture, right?
yeah,
So, and this was done through dance and music again,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
mixed
how
with
they.
martial arts, of course.
Yeah, that's how they well the more complex what capoeira is today's days. It came right after, right, when we start adding more like martial arts movements and more martial art, right, and then we start
Yes,
combining what capoeira is today's days. And but it is
exactly.
it's really cool to see the connection of the dance part and the expression part
Yeah,
combining in capoeira. That's pretty cool, and it's still preserved
yeah,
to these days.
exactly. And when you look at the music in capoeira, all the basis of the music comes from West Africa. For example, the basis of how we sing in capoeira is responsive, right?
Yeah,
Someone sings a song and everyone sings the chorus back, right?
yeah,
And this is exactly how people sing traditional songs here. So it's
so cool,
funny to
man.
see the similarities, right? And it's the same with the rhythm. You have, when you look at, I shared with Sokech because I was in the north of the country here a few months ago, and I shared a traditional ceremony when you had three drums, three
Okay.
djembes playing together, and the way they play is the same as how birimbaos play. So you have
Huh.
one who plays, you have the three of them who plays the bass rhythm.
Yeah,
So like the gunga on the medio, right? And you
yeah,
have one who does a lot of variations,
yeah.
exactly like the viola.
Damn, man, that's so cool. And
And it's the same when you look at candomblé,
yeah,
it's the same thing. You have three atabaks,
yeah,
two of them playing the bass rhythm and one of them doing variations. So it's
yeah,
the same thing, you know. It's very,
yeah.
very
It's
interesting.
same thing with the Yoruba religion. You also have the
Yes.
three drums, two playing the bass, and one goes
Mm-hmm.
all off and on of the rhythm. And same thing, you have the gunga medi viola. That's so cool, man. Yeah, I get goosebumps to talk about it. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And on those that ceremony that you saw, or is this also the sizes of the drums are different of the djembes?
Yeah, the size are different. You have a big one, a medium one, and a small one.
Huh, that's so cool. Damn, I
Yeah,
didn't know that. Send me on Instagram. Send me some of the information. I would love to look it up.
sure. I will send you some videos. And
Yeah.
you also have very, very, how can I say it? You have a lot of similarities also with makulele.
Huh.
The way
Cool.
people, the way some cultures here dress, they use the same kind of fiber as how we dress when we do makulele, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. So many things are the same thing. It's hard to talk about it in the podcast.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
to see the pictures, right, and videos so you can see, oh yeah, this is the same thing.
Yeah. 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 But if we mention it, I can also put like links, names, so people can look it up on YouTube, and hopefully
Yeah,
people do the
yeah,
homework.
yes, that will be a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And when do you see or where do you find that all the information, and what interested you to go deeper into the information and start like looking on different aspects of capoeira with those traditions?
I think it was just by coming in the Ivory Coast and seeing some dances and ceremonies and stuff.
Okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, this looks like capoeira. Oh yeah, this reminds me of something in capoeira or in Brazilian culture, you know.
That's so cool,
And
man.
I started to document all the different ceremonies, dances, and objects I see,
Yeah.
and notice the similarities with some Brazilian stuff.
Yeah. That's so cool, man.
For example, we have a dance here in the north of the Ivory Coast called Boloi, and we
Buloy.
call it the Panther dance. Yes, Boloi. It's by the Senufo people, and when you look at it, it looks exactly like capoeira. They do so many acrobatics. They have like an instrument that is a sort of cousin of the birimbau,
Okay.
you know? It's like a bow with the string, everything like a birimbau and a big cabasa.
Yeah.
And the dancer, they dress in a sort of ninja-looking dress
Okay.
that looks like it's supposed to look like a panther. They have spots everywhere, and they just do so many acrobatics and kicks and moves on the floors. It looks a lot like breakdance and some sort of capoeira.
And you said it's two performing in the center, right?
No, it's one.
Oh, just one.
So
Okay.
you have one dancer coming. He does all his moves. Then maybe another one will come and do. But when you see the moves, you can see capoeira in the moves. They do some queda. They
No
do
way.
some
That's so.
sorts of compasto. They do a lot of aus and salto mortal and gato or palhaço, however you call it in your group.
Wow,
So
dude.
yeah,
That's so cool.
very
That's so
very
cool.
similar.
Definitely want to see those videos so I can also share with my students for them
Exactly.
to see those connections. It's so cool, man. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to see
Yeah.
these videos.
Yeah. When you see and what's amazing is when you see the connection, you can see how vibrant the Brazilian culture is
Yeah.
because they stayed all the African diaspora in Brazil really made sure they will keep their traditions and culture
Yeah.
and adapt it to the new environment, of course. But the base is still the same, and it's amazing.
It's so cool, man. It's very, very
And
cool.
even because when we do capoeira here, when we do demonstrations to people here
Yeah.
in the Ivory Coast, people say, "Oh yeah, I know this. Some people in my village done this before."
That's so cool, man.
They think they know capoeira. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw this before. It's old. It's
Y-
amazing. Really
Yeah, yeah.
amazing.
And they relate that to other aspects of the cultures.
Exactly, they can relate. And it's amazing to see how much they can relate to it, even though they never been to Brazil or they never heard of capoeira before. But since all the music and rhythm and moves are very similar,
Yeah.
they can relate. I remember one day I did a macaco, and one guy came and said, "Oh yeah, I know this move. We call it this name." You know,
That's so cool, man.
so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And he did a macaco too to show me.
Oh, he did it. Oh
Yeah,
man, that's so cool. That's pretty cool. It is funny to see those connections because like is you don't find that anywhere, and you can
yeah.
be oh yeah, that's part of what we
Hmm.
do here.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
and now coming to the part of the religion, you also made a lot of because uh like it or not, or want it or don't want it, the African religions are still part of capoeira. We sing it
Yes.
on the music, and again, we don't have to be part of their religion to sing to them, right? To the Orixas. So it's
Yeah.
like praia manja lele, praia manja lele, and then we have many songs like that, and
Yeah. So
Santa
many.
Barbara de la Pue, Santa Barbara de la Pue. Talks about Shango on that part. And then, uh, where do you find those connections with capoeira in the researches you did?
So I think last year I wrote a document for my fellow Cadara Capoeira students
Okay.
about the connections between candomblé and capoeira.
Okay. Oh, cool, man.
So I wrote this. It's a very good read, 8 pages, but with so many pictures about candomblé and how you can explain the connections between candomblé and capoeira.
Yeah.
So I explained all the main orishas, what are their main features,
Yeah.
and how they can relate to capoeira. For example, I wrote about let's say Ogum.
Yeah.
I said okay, so Ogum is the orisha of war, technology, and other stuff.
Yeah.
And I explained that in capoeira, since he's the orisha of war,
Yeah.
he's seen as the protector of capoeiristas, right?
Yeah.
Because capoeiristas are fighters,
Yeah.
so they can relate to Ogum.
That's so cool,
And
man.
you have songs about Ogum like "Hey Ogum, yeah, tataki
Man, yeah.
malembe."
Yeah.
So yeah, and I did that for every other orishas to see all the connection they can have with capoeira.
Nice, man. What other orishas are like related to capoeira on that document you made?
So someone explained me that the berimbau can be seen as a combination of different orishas.
Huh. Okay,
Because you
cool.
have different elements of these orishas in the berimbau.
Yeah.
For example, the aram of the berimbau
Yeah.
can be seen as related to Ogum because
Okay.
it's steel, right?
Yeah.
It's metal,
Yeah.
and he's the god of war and forgery, so this can be related to him. Or for example, the dobrão is Shango because on its stone is like his axes.
Okay.
Or the biriba is
Yeah.
Oshosi, the orisha of hunting,
Yeah.
because he uses a bow, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And what else? They explained me for every element of the birimbau. I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
But I
don't worry.
remember these main things.
Do you still have that document?
I have it. Yeah, I can send it to you if you want.
Oh yes, that would be dope. Oh man, all this information. I like reading all these because, like I mentioned before, and I mentioned it like a couple podcasts ago too, where like in Venezuela, and we were talking about these too. I'm originally from Venezuela, and I'm initiated in the one of the versions of the Yoruba that we got in Venezuela.
Yes.
But we got it through Cuba. So the religion got to Cuba, and the Cuba tradition came to Venezuela, and then we call it there Santeria, and we were talking about that. And
Yeah.
I got initiated there, and many years ago, and I saw the connections, the drumming, the dancing part, and the rituals of respect to the oldest. And
Exactly.
and that sense of respect is taught in the religion and also is taught in capoeira. And I wish we can see a little bit more of that today's days. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for getting this far. Remember, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up on Facebook or YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is going to help us and help me to get bigger numbers and bigger subscribers so we can give more information. Okay, please, if you're listening, I know you're listening, I know you're watching, please give me a subscribe, give me a like. Okay, I know you're watching right here or listening. All right, have an amazing day. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening every single episode, especially the episode we just did. All right, thank you so much. Peace.